Welcome all to another episode of Brews and Banter FC. I am Targo, and this is my co-host Redbeard. Join us as we cover the highs and lows of all the action in England over the last week from the Premier League to the FA Cup, and who will win February's awards, and so much more.
That's right, and we will also be covering some sweet new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle jerseys at Inter Milan, Paul Pogba's 4-year ban, the Harry Kane curse, and yet more refereeing drama in both La Liga and the Premier League. So grab your brew and get comfy, because an all-new episode of Brews and Banter FC starts right now.
All right, man. How are you doing? What are you soaking this episode down with?
I'm doing great. Oh, I had 6 beers to choose from.
6?
Kind of like
Some choice.
the amount of goals that Arsenal scored against Sheffield United.
Whole 6.
No, I only had one beer to choose from.
That sounds more like it.
Ligne Brewing Company's Megalodon. I thought it said Megalodon at first, and it's actually an M at the end. It's weird. But it's a triple IPA,
Spicy
10%.
though,
Yeah. It's fruity, supposed to be fruity, dry, smooth finish with stone fruit and tropical notes. I've never had it before, and it's been a long time since I've had a Ninkasi beer, so
Well, tell us
we'll see how this goes.
those tropical notes. How is it?
For a triple IPA, it's pretty damn good. It's a little bitter at the end, but yeah, it's like a hazy mixed with a triple IPA. So
Triple IPAs are usually surprisingly good. They're not typically
weird.
very hoppy or
weird.
bitter, yeah.
Because normal ones 50-50. So we'll see. But my friend, how are you doing?
Doing good.
I don't want to take all the talking time. And what are you drinking today?
I'm drinking 7 Seas Brewing, American Half.
Ooh,
And
nice.
it even says,
You'll like it.
but we'll see how it is. That is pretty light. Whole lot of flavor.
Tastes like a typical American beer,
Yeah.
you would say.
It says American Wheat Ale. It says resilient, citrusy, golden. I don't taste too much citrus. To be honest, it's like a Bud Light, but with flavor.
So like a Coeur d'Alene Corona.
Coeur d'Alene Corona. There you go.
Coors Light with a squeeze of lime.
That's about what it tastes like. That's enough
great.
of the brews. Here's a word from our sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by Acorn Hills Clothing Company. Sustainable clothing, biodegradable packaging, tree planted for every purchase, and a percentage of their sales donated to charities.
Yeah, and that's not even the best part. They give you these plantable clothing tags with every purchase. Pretty much greatest idea ever.
That
You
is
scan
awesome.
the QR code right here for planting instructions. So make sure you go to www.acornhillsco.com and use Brews15. That is BREWS15 at checkout for 15% off and have your tree planted today.
Yes, don't forget to use our code Brews15 at checkout for 15% off. This is one you don't want to miss, guys. So Paul Pogba has been banned for 4 years for doping allegations. He was found with DHEA in his system, which can raise testosterone. This was back in September of 2023. But it just came out here last week that he's 4 years.
4 years, man. It seems like a very, very long time.
It's a super long time. I mean, is that too harsh of a punishment? Should maybe a little lighter, a year, 2 years?
You know, to be honest with you, it all depends on what he was taking.
Well, it sounds like he didn't know he was actively taking it. I don't think it was something he was trying to boost his performance with. It was more just he took something and it happened to have this banned substance in it.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever he's taking, I want to know because it clearly hasn't been working for him.
So you know not to take it.
Yeah. So I know not to take it, but players know not to take it because it's obviously not working for him. Pretty much deteriorated his body because he's hurt all the time.
But I mean, 4 years, so he can't play until he's 34 years old. And with this
Yeah.
ban, is he pretty much retired at this point?
Yeah, I would say he could probably make a comeback at a lower league level or like
Saudi Arabia, something like
MLS,
that.
Saudi Arabia. I'd be curious to see if it's a FIFA ban. I know his first one was just an Italian football ban and then a UEFA ban. I don't know if it's a FIFA as a whole, because if it's just if it's not a FIFA ban, he can go to Saudi Arabia or the MLS and play right now if he wants to.
No, something to look up.
Definitely. But other than that, yeah, his career in Europe is over. 100%. You're not going to be able to come back from it, especially with his track record.
So with that being said, is Paul Pogba one of the most overrated players of all time?
While he's on the field, I would say he had glimpses of not being it. But I would say with the amount of time that he was not on the field and in the treatment room, I would say, yeah, 100%. I mean, this guy, it was a colossal failure, especially his second return to United. I mean, he spent 90% of the time injured or on the bench, just trying to get in shape. And then for Juventus, pretty much the same thing the second go around. He had one healthy spell. I would say Juve, his first time there, was the best he did.
I would say he had one decent season with United.
His last season there?
I think his second 2018 season.
Yeah. Yeah. When he went to the World Cup.
Same year he won the World Cup, where he got a whopping 1 goal in that tournament. But this is where I will say, it's Pogba, man, the guy had flair. You can't deny that.
Yes, he did.
He had some,
yes.
There's a couple of goals that come into mind. This is one of the outside of the boot. This was for Juve, where you can just see that thing curl outside and then come back into that upper corner.
Very, very reminiscent of Roberto Carlos in the World Cup. And he had a couple of really long distance goals that were sublime. But I just, again, his career is going to always be overshadowed by the amount of time he spent on the sidelines.
His injuries, oh, for sure. There's another goal where he does an elastic, goes past a player and scores. The guy was flair and that finesse, but you're not wrong. The injuries really hurt his career. But you get a World Cup, so you got to give that to him.
He's got more than most players.
Yes, he did.
If you're talking about that. So,
well, let's talk about a different Italian team, not Juve. We'll talk about Inter Milan and these new jerseys that came out here this week. These Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle jerseys, which I'm a fan of, I gotta say.
Dude, they're so sick. All 3 of them. And I know it's with their strategic partnership with Paramount Plus. They've had Transformer jerseys in the past. But man, dude, these look just crisp with the white logo, and then they have all 4 of them in color.
That's the one I liked. All 4 of them. It's on their away jersey. They had the white jersey, then the 4 turtles, versus the blue one. And then has the 1 turtle.
I kind of like their third kit, the orange one with the all white turtle on it. I do. I don't know why.
I've never been a big
because obviously if I
jerseys.
If I wear orange, I look like a tangerine. So or orange cream smoothie with how white I am.
Sounds right.
I don't wear orange very often, but I do like the look of those.
Inter Milan, we just need Kylian Mbappe and Oxlade-Chamberlain on that.
I'm sure they can get Oxlade-Chamberlain for free. Mbappe, I don't know about that one, but I'm sure he'll make some joke here coming up where he said, "Oh, look, Inter have put my face on their jersey."
They should.
That must be the single turtles, right?
They should. But speaking of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, Kylian Mbappe, let's talk about the team he's probably going to here.
Nice segue.
Real Madrid. So there was an incident where Valencia were hosting Real Madrid at the Mestalla. Wait, not catch this. I would recommend a rewatch. It was good. Valencia went up 2-0 before halftime. Real Madrid went back just before the half and then came back and got a second goal. And just the drama of this game, man. Because last year, we saw when this was where all the racist chants were directed towards Vinny Jr. Vinny Jr. gets 2 goals in this game. So, just as
I loved the celebration too. It was great.
Just the arm up. So dirty.
I personally, before thinking about the bigger picture there, thought he was doing the Rock celebration.
Oh.
So, because that's where my brain goes.
WWE old days. Yes, what the Vinny is cooking.
It's goals.
It's goals. It's goals. There's an incident in this game, man. So the referee, he blows the whistle while a cross is in the air into the box that Jude Bellingham then scores. And he blew the whistle, called the game, didn't count, ends in a draw. Just give me your overall thoughts. Was this a refereeing mistake? Did he have every right to do this? I mean, let me know what you're thinking here.
I mean, he's a referee, right? He does have every right to do it. We don't ever see that happen, though. With VAR in place now.
I'll stop you right there. So he
did
the same thing in the first half, but against Valencia. So I will say he was consistent.
Yeah.
Albeit in my view,
he said the precedent.
Consistently. But
yeah. I mean, I didn't watch the majority of this match, so I'll leave that up to you. But I will say, usually the ref lets play go on. VAR takes a look at it. He takes a look at it. And then you can go back to wherever the foul was or whatever happened.
Well, there's
blowing it mid-play and he scores. I think that's...
So this was just a corner that came in. It gets cleared. Which, okay, and like watching the video, he puts the whistle up to his mouth when it's getting cleared. It goes to the edge of the 18-yard box. And if he blew his whistle then, I'd have no problem.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he then waits for Brahim Diaz to get the ball, have a turn, cross it back into the box, and while he's crossing it back into the box, that's when he blows his whistle. And that's what I have an issue with. I mean, typically you see referees, you let the play develop. You let it kind of finish out, let the ball get cleared, go out of bounds, whatever, and then you blow your whistle.
Right.
He did not do that. I think it was a huge mistake on that referee's part. Cost Real Madrid a couple points. Not that it really matters. They're sitting pretty at the top of La Liga. 7 points clear of Girona.
Yeah, later on in the season, it could make a difference. So
I doubt Real Madrid pretty much got La Liga on
I
wrap.
said could. I didn't say it would. I said could.
Okay. And then Jude Bellingham gets a red card. He had some choice words for the ref.
Yeah, you could. I mean, you can't hear him obviously because they're not going to let you listen to all that on nationally televised broadcast.
You can tell what he's saying. Though.
You can definitely tell what he's saying, and it's in English.
It's in English. So. I can read those lips. What's that movie? Oh.
Yeah, I don't remember which
Christmas
one
Story.
Is, but maybe it might just be. It's too good. It's too good.
Let's talk about Bayern Munich now. Switching gears to the Bundesliga. They dropped points against Freiburg. They drew 2-2. In a game, man, all those goals, you saw them.
Fantastic.
Spectacular goals, man.
Fantastic. Take your pick, man.
Freiburg's first one, I think, is my favorite. Left-footed rocket.
I think so, too. Yeah.
Musiala has a full dribbling curler. Matthias Tell has a fantastic goal also. And then Freiburg tie it up with another fantastic one. Manuel Neuer was... Dude, he just watched it.
Yeah.
Didn't even give it a courtesy dive because he knew.
No. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't see that too often. So it's good.
So Leverkusen with Bayern drawing are now 10 points clear of Bayern Munich. As Bundesliga wrapped up, done and dusted?
I mean, they have a guy on their squad in Leverkusen who's been at this point, right? You saw Arsenal last season, 10 points up with 10 matches left, squandered it. City won the title. So Granit Xhaka's in that locker room saying, hey, don't get comfortable. We have to win until it's done and dusted. We have to win every single game. So no, I don't think it's done and dusted. I mean, we saw last season, Bayern Munich won it on the last day over Dortmund. This is not as close as last season, but I still think there is a chance. However, with Leverkusen being undefeated,
you're telling me there's a chance.
there is a chance. And Leverkusen's undefeated still.
Only dropped 8 points all season, but you expect them to drop another 10?
No, I don't. But I'm just saying, statistically, it's not done and dusted.
It's done and dusted.
Do I think Bayern Munich will win? Not if Thomas Tuchel is their coach. I do not think they will win the title if Tuchel is their coach for the rest of the season.
Could get fired.
Or if Harry Kane is their striker.
I think a big match.
That curse is a lot.
I think a big match is going to be midweek against Lazio, and how Bayern Munich perform in the Champions League. Because that's all they left. That's all they can go for.
That's it.
At that point.
Yeah.
In my view, give Leverkusen the title now, man.
Yeah, I see why not. I mean, they've been fantastic all season. They're still unbeaten. I would love to see them go unbeaten for the rest of the season and be the first team in the Bundesliga to do that, I think. Don't quote me on that.
Did you know there's another team in Europe, the leagues there in Europe, that is also undefeated? Do you know which team that is?
I want to say, is it in France?
No.
Who is it?
PSV.
Oh.
Undefeated in the Eredivisie. Just thought you should know that.
Yeah, well. Yeah, that's still amazing with the squad they have. I mean, Luke de Jong, I think, he's got like 37 goals this season. Something stupid.
About that.
Keep going. I'll look it up.
Okay. So, I guess the question is, do you think Alonso can go undefeated? I know you said you hope they do, but do you think they actually will go undefeated in the Bundesliga?
I'm leaning towards yes, just because of how consistent they've been all season. I think it would take something calamitous because they don't play Bayern Munich anymore. They played them twice already.
No.
They still play Dortmund, I think, is their only big game left.
Freiburg could be a hit. Yep, they got Dortmund, Stuttgart, the way they're playing.
Yeah, Stuttgart could be.
Eintracht.
So, I mean, if they can navigate those tricky games, then yeah, 100%. I know I had said previously they'd go till the end of 2023 undefeated. I mean, they haven't lost a game in all competitions.
0 losses.
All competitions, which is nuts. I think probably if they come up against, say, Liverpool in the Europa League, I think they could lose a game there. But I don't see past them losing to anybody else in the Europa League. The DFB Pokal, I mean, Bayern's out. I think Dortmund might be out.
Pokal, they play Dusseldorf in the semifinals.
Yeah, so I don't see them losing that one either. So I would say, maybe by the end of the season they lose one match in a competition.
Okay.
In a competition, but I think they still will probably do a double when the DFB Pokal and the Bundesliga. Europa League's up in the air. If they were to win a treble, hot damn, that would be unheard of. Luke de Jong has 22 goals in the Eredivisie so far this season.
Okay.
He got 8 goals in the Champions League, so that's 32. 1 goal in the KNVB Cup, and that's it. So he's got 37 goals. Yeah, 37 goals. It's nuts.
It's nuts. Killing it.
For a guy who's, how old is he?
He's up there. He's
33.
He's 30s, yeah.
Yeah, 33. Could you imagine one of us scoring that many goals in Premier competition? No. Anyway, speaking of Premier competition, we had the FA Cup round of 16. Not too much to talk about for Europe's oldest competition.
About as expected.
Jurgen Klopp started a bunch of kids, and they won 3-0. They'll play Manchester United in the next round, which should be interesting. Kevin De Bruyne and Erling Haaland's partnership flourished as they won, I think it was 6-2, with Haaland having 5 goals and De Bruyne having 4 assists.
Sounds important.
Newcastle won on penalties. Chelsea scraped through.
Barely,
Newcastle
dude,
have to
barely
travel.
beat Leeds, Chelsea.
Barely. If it wasn't for, I think, Conor Gallagher last minute goal.
Winner.
And then, Newcastle went on penalties somehow. They did not deserve it, which means Newcastle goes to the Etihad in the quarterfinals. Chelsea hosts Leicester. Wolves host Coventry City. And like I said before, Liverpool host Manchester United. Who do you think wins the FA Cup?
City or Liverpool?
I mean, it's really, right now, I think probably the only reason why Ten Hag and Pochettino have jobs right now.
I think this should be.
They're still in the FA Cup.
Poch's complete and total focus should be this FA Cup because that's all to play for.
Yeah, and I mean, they have a very winnable game against Leicester City. However, they are flying. They are flying in the championship.
You sure?
I said it's winnable. Didn't say they were going to win it. We at least have one Cinderella story left in Coventry City.
Well, they're a championship team, aren't they?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So you can throw Leicester in there.
I guess.
The ultimate Cinderella.
They've won it before, though. Not very long ago. I would love to see Newcastle surprise City, but I can't look past City or Liverpool. So I hope they play in the semifinals. So that way, one of them gets them. Who needs this trophy, though, more than the rest of them? Is it Eddie Howe, Erik ten Hag, or Pochettino?
Ooh. I'm going to say Hag.
I think so, huh?
He's looking to get fired here at the end of the season, and he sure could use this trophy to help claim his case. I think we'll be at Chelsea next season.
I don't know why.
Well, I mean, playing too much on Poch with some of these players that are there. How many players has he
you
brought
would think
in?
You would think that he would be able to do better with the players he has, though.
Don't have much experience, though, so it's hard to fault him too much. Especially when you see the way some of these Chelsea players play.
Week in and week out for their price tag. Yeah.
I think Eddie has some good faith after what Newcastle did last season, but we'll see. I think if this poor run for Newcastle continues, they could.
I think if they get knocked out of the FA Cup by City and stay 8th in the table, you think he still has a job next year?
Probably.
Okay.
I think he's built up enough, like I said, that good faith from the year before, getting them to the Champions League. He overperformed. I mean, let's be honest. Newcastle overperformed last year. All
especially
players,
defensively. Holy cow.
I mean, look at Sven Botman this season versus last. Wow. Miguel Almiron last season versus this year.
Yeah. I mean, even Kieran Trippier.
Trippier,
he hasn't performed the same.
Pope's been out injured.
Shaw as well. Bruno Guimaraes hasn't been the same this year.
I would say Isak's been the only. Isak and Gordon have.
Yeah. I know Gordon's taken off this year, which is great to see, especially for England with the other players they have in form. But yeah, I have to agree with you. I think Ten Hag or Ten Hag, whatever you want to call him, I think his job is seriously on the line if he stays where he is at in the table with the play they've had and gets knocked out of the FA Cup. I think they'll look for someone new next season.
He needs to have any hope of saving his job.
Exactly.
But speaking of managers, not a job. Thomas Tuchel, man. Let's get back to this Bayern Munich situation with Thomas Tuchel.
Can't get enough of it.
Can't get enough of it.
Cracks me up. It's something you could only write in like a fictional story.
This is why we also love this sport, right? The drama, the storylines, all of it. But Tuchel is leaving at the end of the season. So you and I, we're gonna give our list. We already have our list, but we're gonna talk about some of these managers who we think should take over as a Bayern Munich manager. So a little bit of history. Thomas Tuchel was brought in for Julian Nagelsmann. Nagelsmann was hired in 2021, fired in March of 23 while on a skiing holiday. Pretty.
Yeah, I think he found out via like Instagram. I think it was like he did actually get a phone call. Like
Nagelsmann,
someone told him.
I think
Yeah.
you're right. Nagelsmann, he won the Bundesliga, won the DFL Super Cup, and was hired for a managerial fee of 25 million euros, which at the
That's
time
massive.
was a record.
Massive. Yeah.
You know who beat that record?
Bayern Munich.
Nope.
No, Thomas Tuchel was out of a job.
It was
Uh
who replaced Thomas Tuchel at Chelsea?
oh, Pochettino, huh?
Graham Potter.
Graham Potter. See
It's
how
going.
quickly we
Mine
forget.
is going. Graham Potter is now the highest managerial fee. But Tuchel was brought in the day after the firing of Nagelsmann. They barely won the Bundesliga on the final day thanks to absolute utter collapse.
A monumental collapse of Borussia Dortmund. Yeah.
Yes. And it was said that Oliver Kahn and Hassan Salihamidzic, CEO and sporting director, wanted Tuchel at Bayern Munich. And after the season, they had both Oliver Kahn and Salihamidzic were fired. So with Tuchel at the end of the season, or maybe earlier, who knows? Things are
The way
going for
things are
Bayern
going.
Munich. Who would you pick to be the Bayern Munich manager?
Well, I mean, we've seen the list, right? There's not a terrible amount of world-class coaches that you could say qualifies for the Bayern Munich job, right? You got the obvious one, former player Xabi Alonso, who's been fantastic for Bayer Leverkusen all season. But you also, if you're Bayern Munich, have to contend with the fact that Jurgen Klopp is leaving Liverpool, where Xabi Alonso is also a great of that club. Zinedine Zidane, who's been out of a job for a while, he's recently come out and said he would love to coach in the Bundesliga or the Premier League. Unai Emery of Aston Villa, who has a phenomenal track record in Europe. Hansi Flick, former manager of Bayern Munich, and I guess of recently Germany. Yeah. Was a fantastic coach for Bayern Munich, won everything except for the Champions League, if I'm not mistaken. Or did he, was he the coach that won the Champions League with them? I don't know. We got Sebastian, is it Hoeneß? Manager of Stuttgart, yeah. He's done great things, player development, whole 9 yards. His uncle, Uli, is still on the Bayern board, former president, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So those are the short list. I want to throw another name in there as Porto's coach, Sergio, is it Conceição? I believe it's how you pronounce that. Because he said he's not going to return to Porto next season. He's done fantastic things there, but I mean, the obvious choice has to be Xabi Alonso, doesn't it?
I think he's the obvious choice. If he doesn't go, to be honest with you.
Me neither.
I think being a manager it's a tough job.
It's very reminiscent of Barcelona.
A little bit. I think it's quite as bad. There's a lot of oversight from that board. And, are expected to win trophies. Are expected to do well. Are expected to play well. And being completely honest with you, I'd like to see Xabi Alonso stay at Bayer Leverkusen another season.
Oh, I would love to see him stay there for 5-10 years.
I hope he doesn't go to Liverpool, because I think it's going to be a huge step up. If he doesn't do well, that could really hurt his reputation and managerial career. Zinedine Zidane, on paper, this one looks good. Big player, has won lots of trophies. Again, managing in Bavaria, man, it takes something special. I don't think this one will happen, if I'm being honest.
I don't either. And, you look at the teams that Zidane has had. You've had,
Real Madrid,
a plethora of world-class talent on those Real Madrid squads where pretty much you and I probably could have managed them to a Champions League title.
Go play how you play.
Yeah.
And he just signed a contract with Villa. Could be expensive to pry him away.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at him because his Villarreal team knocked Bayern Munich out of the Champions League in 2022.
Yep.
A little something there. I don't think he should leave Villa either.
Villa. No, he's got a good thing going there.
He does. See Flick? he's a former manager already. He left in 2021 after differences with Salihamidzic, who, as I just mentioned, is no longer there. So that can be a good pickup. But we've seen Germany's performances with Hansi Flick.
Awful.
Not good. Not good at all. Yeah, not good at all. And then, as you mentioned, Sebastian Hoeneß, however you pronounce his last name, current manager of Stuttgart, could be a fantastic candidate. He's been working with a limited budget at Stuttgart, which I'm sure Bayern Munich would like. The big thing, his uncle's there.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, especially, aside from having family ties to the board of Bayern Munich, I just did the job he's done at Stuttgart, especially from where they were last season to where they are this season. He's done a fantastic job. I don't see why they wouldn't at least attempt to get him away from Stuttgart. So for me personally, it's got to be Hansi Flick or Sebastian Hoeneß as like the top two candidates, aside from Xabi Alonso, because obviously they're going to go after him. I mean, if they get the best manager in the league to come to them instead of keeping him at Bayer Leverkusen, you're automatically hurting your title rivals. So that makes sense.
It's an interesting one. But let us know. Make sure you check out our Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Let us know who you think should be the next manager of Bayern Munich once Thomas Tuchel leaves, either this season or at the end of the season.
I'm going to throw my hat in for he doesn't last the season and Hansi Flick comes back for at least the remainder of the season. So
good shout. I think it's a good shout.
All right. To the Premier League, shall we?
Okay, let's start with the big one, man.
Let's just kick this off right. And we're going to go straight to, I think it was the 192nd edition of the Manchester Derby. And just like most of the derbies of late in Manchester, it's blue.
It's blue.
And by a landslide. I will say, Marcus Rashford came out before the match in an interview defending the way he's been playing this season. What did you think of it? Or did you even see it?
I did not see his interview, no. If I'm being honest, I just think this is Marcus Rashford. I've seen enough of him where I know, he's going to have a season where he's a baller, bags 20, 30 goals. I also know he's going to have a season where he's going to bag 10 goals. I was saying it while he was his high last year, man. This guy has his peaks and then he has his downfalls.
Don't even have to check the tape on that one.
I don't. This is what I expect from Marcus Rashford. I don't know what to tell you. Do I think he's a world-class player? No. Do I think he'll ever become a world-class player? No. I think what you're seeing is what you're going to get. He's going to have his good seasons and his bad ones.
Yeah,
or mediocre
I know
ones,
a lot of mediocre ones. I know a lot of it, too, has to deal with, a lot of the players around him aren't very good. So it doesn't help him. However, he did it with the same players last season and probably a worse striker. So just saying. So that being said, he did come out and score one hell of a golazo in the first 10 minutes of this match.
The 7th, something like that? Yeah.
Yeah. Out of nothing. Some poor defending by City, allowing Bruno to turn and lay the ball off for him, and then literally nobody stepped to the ball.
Just a man.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I saw a stat today during the Arsenal game where they said it was the most powerful shot hit in Premier League history.
I saw that since they've been recording it. Yeah.
Yeah, which is, what is that, 20 years, something like that. Maybe a little longer than that. How would you rate Marcus Rashford's overall performance aside from the goal, though?
Aside from the goal was trash. I don't think he did anything else. There were other opportunities, and his touch was just terrible. He had a one where he got through on Walker, and he tries to head it, has a terrible first touch. Walker catches up to him. He has another one where he completely misses the ball in a volley where he was at the back post.
Yes. Yeah. And then pretty much what summed up his entire performance for me was that Kyle Walker challenge where he essentially just taps him on the shoulder and he goes to a heap on the ground.
I feel like that could have been a foul. I'm not going to say.
I mean, if you put it this way, if it was called for,
when you're moving,
if it was called for,
and you get a little touch on your shoulder or something,
yeah,
you off balance, you're going to fall.
In live play, it looks like one of those things. If the ref blowing his whistle, like you're not going to get many people that complain about it. Yeah, it's off foul, but no one's going to complain. He doesn't call it. You're like, okay, well, it's Premier League. It's supposed to be physical.
It's a physical sport after all.
Yeah.
Contact
And I mean,
sport.
City immediately went down the field and scored. So VAR did take a look at it.
Said
No. His antics after getting fouled like that, he looked like Bruno Fernandes. 100%. But speaking of going down the field and scoring immediately, Phil Foden.
Ooh.
What a performance from him.
How about his goal? Which goal was better, Phil Foden's first goal or Marcus Rashford's?
I'm going to say Marcus Rashford's. Foden's was pretty. It was, but Rashford's came from nothing, and he was far. Probably, 25, 30 yards out when he hit that. And beat Ederson at his near post.
Yeah.
He beat Ederson at his near post.
Ederson wasn't even close to us. It was before even knew.
Yeah. He could have pulled a Manuel Neuer and just watched it.
He did pull a courtesy.
Yeah. But Phil Foden, man, I feel like literally up until his 2 goals, I don't think he touched the ball with his left foot the entire match. And then he gets the ball on his left foot twice and has 2 goals.
Well, exaggerated there, but
that's what it felt like, because before those, I mean, yes, he was one of City's most dangerous players, but it just seemed like he couldn't cut the ball back in on his left foot like he wanted to. But yeah, I mean, man of the match performance from Foden. There's been a lot of talk of, is he a world-class player? Is Saka better than him? Is he better than Saka? Pep Guardiola came out today and said he's the best player in the Premier League. What are your thoughts?
Is he the best player on Man City?
Right now, I mean, he's playing better than Erling Haaland. I would say it's close between him and De Bruyne and Rodri right now. I mean, De Bruyne's got an assist a game right now, essentially. He's already in the top 5 in assists for the season, and he's played like 10 games. It's crazy. So I'm going to go with no. He's not the best player in the Premier League or even on Man City right now. I'd say Rodri is probably the best player in Man City. How about you?
Right now, I think Foden is the best player in Man City right now. I think Rodri's a close second, followed by De Bruyne, and then sure Haaland. Man, there's been some players playing really well. For as weird as it sounds, there's 2 that come to mind that could potentially. Obviously, one's Mo Salah, but then Ollie Watkins this season, man. Only player in the Premier League with double-digit goals and assists.
Yeah, when we get to players of the season, he's gonna have a big shout.
He is.
And he's been fantastic all season. Yeah, I mean, you gotta think Declan Rice, what he's brought to Arsenal as well. Similar mold to Rodri. It's consistent. He's had 1 bad game in an Arsenal shirt. I would say it's the Porto match. But he also got a yellow card in the 2nd minute. So can't expect him to play all out after that. Yeah, I don't know if there's many better as far as players that are in form this season. I mean, Phil Foden's got more goal involvements than Jude Bellingham this season.
Foden definitely.
Yeah. 100%. I'd probably put him top 3 right now. Yeah, probably behind, I would say, Rodri and Mo Salah. So I'd put Ollie Watkins a close 4th at the moment. But what he's done for Villa is outstanding. Anyways, enough about teams that aren't from Manchester. How about that last goal, though? Erling Haaland putting it in.
Oh, I'm sure he just wanted
dreadful
a hole to open up and just swallow it up. That was the worst.
The guy was on for 8 minutes and somehow managed like a 3.8 rating in the match. That's impressive. Most players that are on for 8 minutes don't even get a rating.
He came up. Ten Hag made some interesting subs, taking Rashford off, taking Mainu off.
But before we get into that, because I'm going to have a little bit of a rant.
Okay.
Haaland scored that one. You kind of expected him to, but there was another chance in the first half where you expected him to finish it. He's 2 yards out, and he hits it over the bar. I'm literally watching this, and I turned around and walked out of the room thinking he had scored. And then I heard John Champion say he missed it. I'm like, what? Is that one of the misses of the season?
It's got to be pretty
Or
close,
the miss
man.
of the season? I mean, I can think of a couple that come to mind, in terms of Chelsea, and Mudryk has missed a couple of sitters. Nick has two. Conor Gallagher even. But, I mean, this is Erling Haaland we're talking about. We say he is the best finisher, pure finisher in the world right now, and he misses it from 2 yards away. And not like wide, not like someone stopped it, but like skies it over the bar. You almost have to try to do that.
Part of me thinks he should have headed it. Except
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's leaning back. He had to adjust his body to be able to volley it. Simple diving header puts that in the net. He probably could have just kept running straight and hit him in the chest and would have got it.
Probably could have done that. Just let it hit.
Right? Holy cow. But, I mean, once Foden scored that first goal, there was only one outcome that was going to happen in that.
I wasn't even worried for City. I was thinking at halftime, I was like, come 75th minute, I'll get worried. That's when I'll start getting worried for Man City, or Man City won't get something from this.
But yeah, I mean, the entire game was played around the United box, essentially. So did United lose this match, or did City win it? I mean, it's probably a dumb question.
But I think City won it. I mean, they had to come back from behind, win the game.
Yeah.
Brilliance. They got through, got their second, and then the third goal was, a mistake from Amrabat.
Yeah. I'm going to say it's a bit of both. City did win it, yes, but I think a lot of it was down to the match played by and the tactics by Ten Hag, to be honest with you. I mean, he put in probably the world's most uninspiring subs I've ever seen. Like, they're almost bordering incompetence. I mean, he put in Amrabat. I got it. Just wait.
Okay.
Amrabat, who might be, for me, the worst signing of the season, seeing some of his performances this season. He put on Antony, who did absolutely nothing and took off Garnacho. And he put on Fulson for Rashford. So they're two most attacking talents you take off for two unproven players. And one of them, in Antony, was awful yet again. But pretty much sums him up. He ran 80 yards down the field with the ball, stopped, tried to turn it back when he could have just kept going into the 18-yard box. Holy cow.
You're talking about.
And then after the match, Ten Hag comes out to defend himself and says that no defender in the world can stop Antony if he plays the way he knows he can, because he is the best player in the world in the first 10 yards. How delusional is this guy?
Very. Last episode, man, this guy's living in outer space with some of these
things
he says.
They get worse and worse by each game. Holy cow. Like, where did this come from? You guys let us know. How incompetent is Eric?
Very.
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Like, subscribe. Moving on to the other games. Villa outlasted Luton 3-2.
Yep.
I gotta feel bad for Luton at this point, man.
No.
They give their all in these home matches, and yet they lose yet again. Barely. And they even came back from 2-0 down.
And it's 80s.
It did. We had Newcastle, Fulham, and West Ham getting back to form with convincing victories.
I would argue
West Ham made to find there's a scoreline at the end of it.
It was 1-1 for a long time until a Thomas Tuchel screamer, and then they got the very end. Well, Everton were pushed.
Yeah, we had Bournemouth getting their first win of 2024, beating Burnley 2-0. I will say Semenyo had a fantastic game in that match. Burnley looking worse and worse game by game. Then we had a controversial one where Darwin Núñez keeps Liverpool's dream season alive, scoring in the 99th minute over Forest.
Controversial. It's controversial in the sense that referee blows the whistle, say has a head injury. But Forest had the ball. The referee didn't give Nottingham Forest the ball back. He gave it to Liverpool, which then minute something later, 2 minutes, whatever it was.
2 minutes later, Liverpool score. I mean, it was a mistake by the referee. Would it have prevented Liverpool from winning? I don't know. Honestly, it's a bunch of what ifs at this point.
Equate this mistake to giving the wrong throw in. Like refs do that all the time.
Yes and no. I mean, Liverpool went directly down the field to put pressure on Forrest's goal immediately. However, Forrest did have two great chances to clear the ball and didn't, and gave the ball to McAllister, and the rest is history. It's just a simple lapse in judgment from the ref. It is closer to what you're saying, it being giving a throw in the wrong direction or giving a corner kick instead of a goal kick. Probably, to me, is probably a better way to phrase that. But the ball should have gone to Forrest. Who knows what they would have done after that? They've been pretty terrible this season, so I don't really side with them. Liverpool's been pretty fantastic. So I'm going to say Liverpool. As far as Liverpool, I'm going to call it a wash this season because they got robbed of a win earlier in the season, and they kind of got away with a win here. So
they
now
got robbed of a goal. I wouldn't know if they the win, but they got robbed of a goal. That's for sure.
A goal and a controversial red card given. I will say that, which affected the game a lot. Anyways, Chelsea still suck is another one.
Brentford.
Yeah. After being 1-0 up, going down 2-1 and scoring in the 90th minute. Arsenal continue their hot form.
Going back to Chelsea, about what we expect from a mid-table team.
Yeah. I think their fans just need to pull their head out of the sand and get used to it because that's what you were before Roman Abramovich came in. So that's what you're going to be now, apparently.
And Arsenal, man, took a nice little stroll down Bramill Lane, I would say.
Yeah, I know Sheffield's famous for their steel, but Arsenal definitely brought the steel from London in this match as they scored 5 goals in the first half, 3 in the first 11 minutes to pile the pressure on Sheffield United. Man, Arsenal have really turned the tables since the turn of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, end of the year, we thought they were pretty much done and dusted for the title. Now we're saying they're the best team in England right now. At least I would say that. I mean, they have a 10
team, best defense. Yeah.
In the last 7 games, they've scored 31 goals and conceded 3. I think Sheffield United had 1 shot on target in this match, which would make it, I think, 7 or 8 shots total in those 7 matches on target. They're the first Premier League team to score 5 goals. They had
0 shots on target.
Okay, so 7 and 7 shots on target.
4 shots, 3 goals, but 0 on target for Sheffield.
Crazy. Arsenal have scored 5 goals in 3 successive away matches for the first time of any Premier League team in history. Sheffield United, the opposite. They've allowed 5 or more goals in 3 successive home matches. 3 games. Arsenal, I mean, I could keep going. They overtake City for most goals scored in a 7-game span, and it's not even close. City had 22 in 7 games in 2018. Arsenal have 31. And with that, they now have a 10-goal cushion on Manchester City in goal difference in a title race that is the tightest it's been in 10 years. We are in, better get your popcorn ready, man, because this is going to be fun. With Liverpool playing City this weekend, we got Spurs going to Villa Park as well.
For that 4th place.
Woo! Yeah.
Could be a good one.
It's going to be a good one, but to finish the Premier League on Sheffield United, I was looking this up because I was very interested, okay? They've given up 72 goals this season. Wild, first off. That's a lot of goals for having 11 games left. Could they give up the most goals in Premier League history? 100. But get this. It was 93-94 when they played 42 games, and it was by Swindon in 93-94. That Derby County team that had 11 points, they allowed, I think it was 93.
This could be close. I think they will. Close.
You think in 11 games, the way they're playing right now, they can't let in 28 goals?
They
still have to play. Fulham and Chelsea at home. They play United away, Liverpool at Anfield, and Newcastle, who beat them. I think it was 8-1 earlier in the season.
Yeah,
They play that game
something like that.
They play that game at St. James's Park. So I'm gonna go with they blow that 100-goal record out of the water the way they're playing right now.
Okay.
Chris
I
Wilder.
don't think they will. I think the
so.
Anfield
They're
game
so bad.
is the toughest. This Newcastle team is different at the beginning of the season. Chelsea can't score goals. Fulham are
on a bit of a tear right now. United, you never know what you're going to get. So it should be interesting. I think this team, although points-wise they won't be the worst in the history of the Premier League, I think defensively they will be the worst in the history of the Premier League. Let us know. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook group, YouTube. Make sure you're checking that out. Give us a comment. And then check out our Redbubble. We got some awesome merch.
Yes, sir. So let's get to the last topic we're going to talk about. It's going to be the EPL Awards, the February Awards, the Manager of the Month, Goal of the Month, Player of the Month, Save of the Month. We'll go through them. Let's start with the Save of the Month. That one I think is the least interesting.
Yeah, let's start that.
Jose Sa against Man United. Vicari had a nice save against Everton. Emi Martinez had a nice save against Sheffield. Andre Onana is on this list. Had a nice save against West Ham. Mark Flecken against Wolves. And Alfonso Areola against Arsenal. Which one you picking?
Yeah. So for me, it's a toss-up between three, and they're probably not the three you think I'm going to pick. I mean, obviously that Alfonso Areola save against Arsenal, I didn't think there was any way he was getting to that ball. That was fantastic. Mark Flecken versus Wolves was amazing. That ball looked destined for the top corner. And then Vicario versus Everton, which I would pick as my winner, to be honest with you.
I picked Vicario.
Yeah. I mean, that man is like he lets in goals, but like if it wasn't for him, this Tottenham team would probably be around where Chelsea is right now because of how much he nailed them out.
Yeah. I think that Emi Martinez and actually that save were pretty nice.
Yeah, they were. I mean, there's a lot of really great saves this month. So,
all right, well, let's move to the Goal of the Month.
Yeah,
there's lots of them. Declan Rice had one against West Ham. Darwin Nunez against Brentford. Emerson also against Brentford. Kobe Mainoo against Wolves. Richarlison against Everton. Jordan Ayew against Crystal Palace. João Pedro also against Crystal Palace. And Jefferson Lerma against Chelsea.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll rule out Jefferson Lerma against Chelsea right now because they lost that match, so it doesn't mean as much. I'm going to go between Jordan Ayew was nice. João Pedro's was too, but it's got to be between Kobe Mainoo and Declan Rice for me. Has to. Like, Kobe Mainoo dribbles through three players and puts it top corner. And then Declan Rice hits a screamer from 30 yards out, side netting against his former club.
How about that Darwin Nunez chip, though, man?
It was beautiful, I will say. And that's what we expect from him this season, right? He misses sitters, but he scores the fantastic. I honestly won't be, biased with Declan Rice. So I'm going to go with the Kobe Mainoo one because that was just silky smooth. And for a holding midfielder, it was pretty fantastic.
Emerson won against Brentford too, where he just laces that and it just lasers, man, into that top corner.
Yeah, that was.
I'm gonna go Declan's. That one was nicest.
You want to know who won?
Who won?
Because this is the only one that's been announced, and it was Kobe Mainoo against Wolves. So
yeah,
I was gonna pick that before I knew, but I do know nothing else has been decided yet besides that one. So moving on.
All right, get to the Manager of the Month. We have Mikel Arteta, who had 4 wins out of 4, 18 goals scored, 2 conceded. Mr. Pep Guardiola, who had 4 out of 5 wins, 8 goals scored, 2 conceded. And Erik ten Hag is on this list. 4 wins out of 5, 12 goals scored, 7 conceded. Is this one pretty obvious?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you see in the way Arsenal have been playing. I mean, 2 goals conceded, 18 goals scored. The only one with a perfect record.
Arteta.
Easy. Easy.
All right, one that's a little bit harder. Player of the month.
This one's tough.
So Phil Foden, 4 goals, 12 chances created. João Gomez had 2 goals, 1 assist, 13 tackles, 1. Pascal Gross, 1 goal, 4 assists, 17 chances created.
That's nuts.
Rasmus Højlund, 5 goals, 1 assist. Rodrigo Muniz, forward for Fulham, if you guys don't know. He had 4 goals, 3 chances created. Bukayo Saka, 6 goals, 5 chances created. And Ollie Watkins, 4 goals, 2 assists.
Yeah. So, I mean, Ollie Watkins, Bukayo Saka, Rasmus Højlund, all with 5 goal contributions. 6 goal contributions.
6 goal contributions, yeah.
I want to lean towards Pascal Gross, though. I mean, those stats are nuts. A goal, 4 assists, but 17 chances created. 17. And that he had 4 assists on top of that. So it's 21 chances created, and they only scored 4 of them. The man is on fire, and he is the one consistent performer for them. I want to also pick Ollie Watkins because he's been the best player in the Premier League as far as stats go this season. And you got Bukayo Saka, who, 6 goals in 4 games. Okay. Take a bow. This is tough, man. I'm gonna go with Ollie Watkins. I have to. He deserves it.
Big throw you a curveball.
Okay. João Gomez?
No, João Gomez. Go with Rasmus Højlund.
Yeah, he was really good. And you can see that United miss him desperately.
That's what I'm saying. No bueno. They did not.
Yeah. For me, I almost picked Bukayo Saka because Arsenal did beat Liverpool pretty handily in February. So that's the thing. Or was that the end of January? Either one. Anyways. But Ollie Watkins, man, it's the assists and the goals for me. But Rasmus Højlund's a great shout.
When Arsenal beat Liverpool.
Okay. So, yeah, I have a feeling Bukayo Saka will win it, but I think Højlund or Ollie Watkins should win it. So, it's a good thing.
You guys will have to let us know. Who do you think will be the player of the month for February in the Premier League? Let us know. Make sure to check our Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, subscribe. It's all the fun stuff. Check out our Redbubble account. You can get the merch, the posters, the shirts, the mugs. And of course, don't forget to check out Acorn Hills Clothing. Cool company, doing good for the environment. Always worth a look.
Yeah, man. And plantable tags. Pretty awesome. You also get a sticker every purchase and a tree planted. It's pretty fantastic.
But on that, thank you guys so much. As always, cheers.